Hi everyone and welcome to today's General Hospital recap during the day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. So I'm here at normal-ish time, so let's get right to it. At the Julexis house, Julian shows Alexis the headline that Carlos Rivera is alive, and Alexis is worried because she knows if Carlos talks, especially to Sonny, then Julian's dead, pretty much, and Julian's going to look into it. KRISTINA asks if Julian's okay, and Alexis is like, yeah, and Alexis wants to talk about KRISTINA's journal. Ooh. So she didn't read it, she just found it, so props to Alexis, and Alexis thinks maybe KRISTINA wanted her to find it deep down, like that's why, subconsciously she left it out. So KRISTINA tells her that the professor she made advances out on was Parker, and KRISTINA says Parker came over the other day because she was concerned, and she tells her how Parker challenged her to explore, but this is where things kind of veer to the left. So Alexis thinks it's inappropriate for Parker to advise her or confuse her any further, and Alexis brings up the abuse that KRISTINA's been through and the failed marriage, R.I.P. Trey. That's what other KRISTINA technically, but I miss him sometimes. Anyway, and her, just history with her guys, and KRISTINA asked if it would be so bad if she was gay. Like, why can't you just take what I'm saying to you? So Alexis is like, I'm fine with it, if this is what it is, then I'm fine with it. And KRISTINA's like, why do you have to qualify it? I'm getting mad for her. Like, I'm with KRISTINA on this whole thing. So KRISTINA says she can't believe that Alexis is disappointed in her because of what she is, not because of something she's done. And that does hit Alexis hard, you can tell. But now, moving on, we'll get back to them in a second. So at Ava's, Ava pours water on Scott. To wake him up, and you know me, I've never been an Ava fan, but this is pretty much as close as I get. Anyone who pours water on Scott is a friend of mine. So apparently Scott snores, and apparently he took a bit of a sleeping pill, even though he's supposed to be there to protect her. So, money well spent, you get what you pay for. So Ava ushers Scott out after Julian comes over, and she tells him it's not what it looks like. Scott's there for protection. So Julian has a meeting at Ava's place to sort everything out with the people with the organization. So it's just one meeting with a former associate, nothing more. Famous last words, Julian. Famous last words. So Julian seems really worried, and not just because of the Carlos news weighing on his mind. Like, there's something going on with him. So Julian tells this guy from Ava leaves. Okay, so Julian is meeting with this guy from the organization, whose name I think is Hammer. That's what it sounded like. They said it like 3 times. I think that's what they said. If it's not, I apologize, but just putting it out there. He tells him that Ava wasn't working with the DA. It was just a cover to keep her out of prison, and she didn't know anything about the sting. And he gives his word that Ava wasn't involved, and the guy accepts that. Like, just Julian's word is enough for them to move on from Ava. And he tells Julian the organization needs him to come back and head up the family. Yeah, one meeting with a former associate. So Julian wants to keep the decision between them and the guy, Hammer, I think his name is. You know what? His name is Hammer on this show, okay? He says, they'll be discreet because they know how the new Mrs. Jerome feels about that stuff. Yeah. So Julian says he doesn't approve of the black rose that was sent to Ava, and Hammer's like, the organization never sent her that or a message. I don't know what you're talking about. At the hospital, Kiki's awake. Franco got her new sneakers, and she asks if Morgan has been there because she hasn't heard from him. So she doesn't know he's in an institution, and Franco tells her that Morgan's been committed to the Friedman Clinic. So he also tells her that he was committed because he tried to jump off the roof of the hospital. So Franco runs down the list of Morgan's infidelities, and he wants better for her. But Franco leaves, and Kiki grabs her phone and looks up the Friedman Clinic and calls. She says she's his wife, but they don't connect her through. So she eyes up her new sneakers and attempts to make a run for it, but Ava comes in. So Kiki wants to talk about Morgan and what's going on with him. And Kiki was always waiting for Morgan to walk through the door, and Ava's like, you're better off without him. And Kiki's like, you say you love me, and you basically because you love me, can you do me this one favor? And we'll find out what that is in a second. At Kelly's, Franco overhears Scott calling to forward his mail to Ava's building, and he's like, what now? Please don't tell me you're with Ava. At Sunny's, Carly asks Sunny how long he's known Carlos is alive and what he plans on doing about it. And he also, I'm moving too fast now. Sunny tells Carly that he's working with Anna and Carlos will be brought back alive, and she's like, that's all fine and good, but what happens after that? So Sunny tells her about flipping on Julian plan, and she still wants more details. So, you make one guy dig his grave once, and suddenly no one trusts you with him. So Jocelyn comes in, new Jocelyn, not new from the last time, but just like newer in general, and tells them, Avery's all set and ready to go visit Morgan. Jocelyn asks Sunny what it's going to be like at the clinic and what she can do to help Morgan, and he tells her to just love him and be there for him. And apparently Sunny is having the DA watched so they can bug his office. I think I have something in my eye, so you have to, I apologize if I'm like blinking a lot. At the Friedman Clinic, Michael, I'm just not good with names today. Michael comes over and tells Morgan that Carly, Jocelyn, and Avery are coming later, and Morgan doesn't feel anything at all. So he thinks he's at the clinic because he's broken and can't be fixed. Carly, Jocelyn, and Avery come in. Jocelyn got him comic books and wants to see movies with him when he leaves. And we learn about one of Michael's very few character flaws. So apparently he doesn't understand how the Marvel Universe lines up, and he even has a criticism that Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't fit in, and if anyone can criticize Guardians of the Galaxy, they are no friend of mine. And apparently Civil War is going to super confuse him because there's way too many superheroes, and I'm just starting to think that Michael isn't the man that I thought he was. That was very important for me to pass on to you. But anyway, so Michael tells Carly he doesn't think that it's a good idea for them to be there. And Morgan asks about Kiki, and Carly kind of deflects and is like, don't you want to hold Avery? And Morgan's like, I'm allowed to hold Avery. So Morgan wants Michael to take them home, but Carly's staying. So Morgan says he feels like he's in a zoo and he doesn't think he's going to get better, and she tells him he needs to give it time. So Carly promises Morgan his feelings will come back, and Morgan says he wants to feel, but where he is, he's just empty. And she says he's not empty and things are gonna change. Someone comes in, Carly sees them and it's like, someone wants to see you, and Morgan's like, send them away, and Carly's like, you're gonna have to do that yourself. So it's Kiki and Ava. Amazingly, Ava did sneak Kiki out of the hospital for Morgan. Kiki's using a walker, she can't walk on her own. The front desk people apparently weren't feeling the whole wife excuse to let her come in, so she told them she was his half-sister's half-sister, and that put them over the edge, so they let her come in. So they're going to have a few minutes alone together, and she tells him she just found out he was there and no one had told her where he called from. Like, she had no idea where he was. Back at Sunny's, apparently the bug has been planted on Paul's office phone. They're just waiting to do his cell phone. Michael comes back with Jocelyn and Avery. Jocelyn's bothered, and Michael asks, maybe Sunny asks, I don't know, someone asks her to take Avery to Graciela, and Jocelyn wants a timetable to when Morgan's going to be home. Michael asks what's going on with the business, and Sunny says he's taking care of it, but he needs a favor for Michael to be there for Carly and, just kind of, hold the family together, basically. And now end scene, woo! Alexis asks Christina to wait. She says, she didn't know what she said, and apparently, she doesn't know what she said, but apparently it was all the wrong things. And let me tell you what she said wrong, in case you don't see it either, because I think depending on what side of this you're on, you don't realize. So people who are coming out, they don't want to be talked out of it, if that makes any sense. They don't want to play point counterpoint or told this is just a confusing time. Coming out, it takes a lot of courage, and if someone ever comes out, you just accept what they're saying, accept them, and hug them, and that's all. You don't have to ask any questions, you don't have to do anything. That can all come later if you want to ask questions, but you don't counter back at them or tell them, oh, you're just confused. Don't do that. Please don't do that if you're ever in that position. Anyway, so Scott tells Franco that he's staying with Ava. He asks about Nina. Franco's like, oh yeah, we're so happy. And then he tells Scott the kid debacle, and Scott says it's a deal breaker if someone wants kids and the other one doesn't. So Morgan tells Kiki to go home and never come back. Okay, Scar. Ava and Carly have some time alone in the hallway, and Avery gets brought up. Sonny says the home and business lines are blurring, and Michael says that he will try to hold them all together. Sonny opens the door, and Julian's there. And, you know, dear Julian, does he not realize that no one's going to believe he was ever out of the business if he comes right back in? Like, no one's going to believe you, and you really did get out and worked hard to get out, and now right back in. But alright, thank you so much for watching today. I think it's Wednesday. It is, so we can start voting for Character of the Week if you want. So you can put it down in the comments if you have it all figured out. If you don't, then, you know, we have till Friday. Just sometimes Friday gets cut off and then I haven't told you to vote. So I do it at the end of the week now. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!